we went to our local theater and we saw the live broadcast
Oh
from
yeah,
Korea, and we
yeah.
saw the live broadcast from Japan, and we're going back in May to see the live broadcast from Busan. And my wife's just she's learning the songs because when they come to LA, she's going to interpret for it. So,
Yeah.
she
Oh,
wanted
she
to.
only does it in LA. She doesn't travel with the
No,
band.
she doesn't travel. No, because she actually. So how that works is the venue hires her, hires the people to do sign language for the hearing impaired. So
Hmm.
she interprets for the sign language people.
Right.
And sometimes she does the press conference. So if she's got to go like at 4 o'clock or really early, then all the guys from the band or whatever will sit on the stage, and those people who spent thousands of dollars on VIP tickets, sit in the first 4 rows, and they answer questions and they talk to them, and then she'll sit down there and she'll interpret for that. But when she does her regular concerts, she's actually interpreting for the sign language people.
Well, I tell you what, this stage is massive.
It's crazy.
It's in the round.
Crazy.
It's in the round. Figure it, Raymond James football teams where the Buccaneers play. It's the center of the stage is in the center of the football field, and the circle of the circular part of the stage, it goes out to the hash lines on the football field. Then they have aprons. Think of where my hands are crossed here.
It's three-sided.
It's four-sided.
Well, the screens,
here,
there's three screens.
Here,
yeah.
Apron here and apron here. And they go out to the edges of the field to the 10-yard lines on either side. It's the largest stage. It blows Taylor's stage away.
It's
the largest
incredible.
Stage that's ever, and it's twice as big as Metallica's was. And
it's amazing.
And boy,
and do they have a walkway out as well, like Taylor?
Yeah,
yeah. Many.
Like, for instance, this is you're looking down at the stadium where my arms cross is the center of the football field, and there's a large circular stage there, and then there's a runway, each way, all the way to the edge, to the sidelines.
So the circular stage has 3 sections, the inner, the mid, and the outer, and they all go up and down, and they all turn in either direction on any cue. So whenever they're singing a song with the dancers, some of them are always facing one of the audiences because they're in around. The choreography was absolutely outstanding, and how they did the whole thing so that nobody feels left out. The whole package was just blew me away. I was just so astounded.
This is BTS we're talking about, right?
Yes,
yep,
BTS. Yeah. They're
the number 3rd tour right now in the world. Number 3. You know what number 1 is?
How could anything be bigger than that?
Bruno Mars.
Is it really Bruno Mars?
Tour in the world.
That's Sully.
Now, size-wise or money-wise?
Money-wise.
So, Greg, do you know who's got the contract for the stage and the PA and the Lighting for America? Because the show they did out by you was so close to the show. I mean, they couldn't have shipped all that shit. There just wasn't enough time to build it and ship
for
it.
BTS, you mean?
So there must be an Asia stage set up, and there must be an American.
Sure. I mean, Claire was doing sound.
Claire was doing the sound. Why doesn't that surprise me?
No, Claire was doing sound. Chances are it's Tate Towers that are doing the staging.
Oh, it was.
I mean, there's really only 2 companies that I know of that do the staging.
If you get a chance to see it live on YouTube, watch it on YouTube. Some of it because it's just absolutely.
They have over 50 trucks.
50?
Yeah.
Oh my God!
Well, I mean, I hope you're not watching this BTS with a box of Kleenex and some intensive care lotion. That's all I could say. The way you're making it sound is you got a crush on these guys.
No, they're really good. They write well. Their tunes are all so. Sirius Radio has had a BTS channel up until about 2 days ago, and they do interviews between the songs of people that have basically they've been around 15 years.
Yeah,
a lot of people, and they talk about they'll have somebody on that says, I started listening to you when I was like 10 years old and I'm, 25 now. And I went through all these, major things in my life, and you guys really pulled me through. And when you actually listen to the words of the tunes, I mean, K-pop has got to be one of the healthiest things for the kids. It's unbelievable. And I went in totally jaded, and after going to a couple of concerts with my wife and then reading about it and everything else, I'm sold. These guys, I talked to the security people at the forum after one of the shows, and I said, so how do you like this K-pop stuff? And they says, you know what? We love it. And I said, why? They said, because it's all moms and kids and some dads, but mostly moms and kids. No one ever gets in fights, and the cleanup crew is minimal because they take out what they bring in. And they're the nicest people, and it ain't like doing rock and roll or rap or any other crap, Yeah. And that was the beginning of my changeover. I had to open my eyes to K-pop, and I'm sold because,
Well, they're completely sold out. They're gonna they're doing 3 days here.
Yeah, and they're doing 3 days here too.
So they're gonna try and rival Taylor Swift's record here, and there's been people camped out since Sunday. They opened up the parking lots on Sunday for a shows. Friday night's the first show.
Blackpink was at the Dodger Stadium, and they did an absolutely astounding job, and their set was nice too. It wasn't nearly as big.
I got a question for you guys. It doesn't bother you that they're singing to track? It doesn't bother you at all?
Well, not some of the K-pop. The couple that I went to, they actually had a band in the pits, but I was reading about how they did it, and it's not Pro Tools. It's another thing that I forgot. But what happens is the mixer has stems of all the instruments, so he's kind of mixing the instruments pretty live, but it is track, yes. And then all the backup vocals are on track, and then he's got all the guys, the main singers, whatever they are, independently on each track, and he rides them because what he said was most of the time when they're singing the meat of the songs, that's them doing it live, and he doesn't have them potted up. But if they're doing an intense dance thing, or if they're a lot of times they'll be doing big harmony stuff, then he brings it up so that it meshes better. And I after learning that, I watched the show the other day at the theater, and boy, it's tough to tell, but you can tell a little bit once in a while. But
Wayne, that photo, that layout that you posted in the chat, that's immensely, that is so huge when you see it live.
Well, a football field in itself is 300 feet. So you're from corner to corner, that's got to be 400 feet or something.
So the video screens are hanging, and they basically go from one leg down at the edge of one leg, and then it curves over the stage and goes out to the other leg. And they have all these huge video screens, and they gotta have 15 cameras because you could see when we were watching it, the live stream, you can see the big screens through a lot of it, and two totally different things going on. So, and the cameras are and they give the guys have cameras on the stage that they're carrying around. So they do all this funny stuff because they're teasing each other, and they're having a good, they really seem like a fun bunch of people. It's just like, it's really cool to do a show with them, but
I don't care. I don't care if they're doing tracks, if they're
as long as they're good.
If they're upfront about it. They're not trying to fool anybody.
No, they're not.
The vanilla. No.
And when they
sharing the picture, but somehow I shared my VPN. Let me see. Let's see if.
So here's one of the things that amazed me, which got me really interested in finding out how they do it.
No.
In one point in the show, they one of the circles, the inner circle, comes up out of the floor, and they all sit in a circle, and the thing turns, and they talk about the time that they had to take off. They had to take about 5 years off because two of the guys had to go into service. So the whole thing was, this is their comeback tour after the guys got out of service.
Yeah.
And they talk about all of that and how glad they are to be back together and how they're writing some songs and they're trying out some new stuff and this and that, right? And this and that. But really what got me they said, okay, so what do you want us to sing next? Because they had done all their new stuff, and they did Dynamite, and they did Butter, and they did,
I watched that.
Their hits, which were absolutely wonderful.
That's still on Netflix, by the way. That their first show.
Really?
Live on Netflix, and if you have Netflix, you can actually see.
Did you ever see the video they did for Korean Air? Oh my God, it's so funny, but it's great. It's great.
There
so anyway,
it is. Finally, I got it.
That's how big.
There we are. That's it. So that's pretty impressive.
Oh, it's just absolutely huge. So anyway, let me just finish because this is amazing. So they're sitting on the edge of the stage, and one of the guys says, "So what do you want to sing next?" And you think that they're talking to each other, and then he stands up and walks down to the audience, and he says, "Come on, tell me what you want to sing next." And they holler stuff out to him, and then he looks like, he's waiting for the guys with all the computers backstage to tell him that they got the track, right? And he's like, "Okay, we can do that one." And they count it down, and off they go. And it's like, holy shit, those hard drives with all that stuff on it must be huge. The whole computer system to make that thing work, because it's all to clock, because all the video and the lasers and smoke and fires going all over the place, and it's absolutely astounding. I'm so impressed with this tour. It's just unbelievable. But anyway.
See, so it's not so much the music as it is the technology that they're running the show with.
Yeah. I really was appreciative of the music, but this tour got me into what they were actually doing because it's so intense. And,
Yeah, well,
congratulations.
Claire is one of their sponsors as well. So they're
Korean Air?
They're producing the show.
Yeah.
And Korean Air is a wonderful airline. If you ever get a chance to fly it, it's great. And just, I need to interrupt you right now, just for 1 second. I just have to say, welcome to Thinking Out Loud with Friends of SoundBroker, episode 308. And thanks for coming. Remember to share the show, give it the thumbs up, all that other crap that has to be done so that we can get our audience up. But just remember this, and this is the most important thing. Everything you hear today is an opinion, so do your own research. I want everybody out there to go see BTS and come back and report. That's it.
You got $1,000 a ticket. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, we were flying to Korea like twice a year for a while there until Annie's mom died. And we were always flying on Korea Air. And the last trip out coming back, it was hotter than hell in the cabin. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm susceptible to motion sickness. And I would rather have it be cold in the cabin than warm, because my kind of rule is you can always put clothes on, but you can't always take clothes off. And it was uncomfortably hot. And, all the newer planes, they don't have little blowers that are blowing you in the face. It's all the ceiling shit, right? And so then I kept asking the flight attendant, "Can you tell the pilot to cool it down in here?" Because it was like, 73 or 74 degrees or something. And, I want it to be like 68. If I had my way, I'd want it to be 65, but 68, I'm fine with. So then afterwards, I read this thing that.
You know what that is in Celsius? Because if you're on Korean Air, you need to give them Celsius.
Nah, I don't know what it is in Celsius, but I found out that Korean Air, as of a certain date, was raising the temperature on all of their planes. So I told Annie, I says, "You know what? The next time we go to Korea, we're going on American, because I'm not sitting in that hot cabin again. That was just too hot for me."
I just think that just happened to be one of those cases.
No, they actually said they were going to raise. Problem. Well, it's a new thing, but for about 6 months now, and they said they raised the cabin temperature by about 5 degrees. And I'm like, well,
do you think that's to save jet fuel?
I honestly don't know. Why should I give a shit? The tickets are freaking, $1,200 a round trip. I don't care about jet fuel.
I have to tell you, talking about tickets, the price of tickets. I have a friend whose daughter, who I've known since I've been a kid. I mean, we've been best friends, and his daughter is finally getting married, and I couldn't afford the tickets. If I'm going to take Bo and myself, a trip back to New York right now would be around $20,000 to fly business class.
20,000?
With hotel, with car, with food, with everything. The airline tickets have doubled in price.
Especially to Asia. Yeah.
And
our
the worst part about it is,
when we were there working, was just ridiculous.
And the worst part about it is that on all of the airlines, if you're flying from Thailand to New York, they can't guarantee you're going to make it, because it has to go through the Middle East. And I have to tell you, I'm not really up for flying through the Middle East right now,
Best thing
and especially
to do
when
is
they
fly to LA, spend the night in a hotel, and then do the do LA, New York.
Up across the country, yeah.
Yeah.
I love this guy, but am I ready to fly 40 hours, to get there and spend 20 grand? Hey, stream the fucking wedding to me. That's all I can say. I'll send a nice gift,
Yeah.
But everything's an opinion, Jan. So remember
That's right. That's right. Hey, listen, we're excited. We're talking about things, but one of my favorite shows of all time was that Prince halftime show at the Super Bowl.
That was good.
Could you believe it? He's been gone 10 years as of today.
Amazing.
10 years. Time goes by so fast.
It does.
But Greg, I sent you all of those tour jackets.
Yes. Hold on.
One of those jackets is a very timely jacket today. And that is one of the guys that I was on the road with passed away the other day. And that's Dave Mason.
Yeah, Mason.
Yeah, Dave Mason.
79 years old.
I was reading that.
What a nice guy. I have to tell you, being on the road with Dave Mason was an experience and a half. I love it. And I remember at the end of the tour, it ended up in the Greek Theater, right? That's the wrong jacket. You want the certified live jacket.
Oh.
The black jacket with the red.
Yeah, I can't fit into that one. Okay.
No, but let's show everybody the back of the jacket. It was the certified live tour.
Who are Dave Mason's bandmates? Who is in his band?
I can't remember all of them, but I do remember Mike Finnegan and Jim Krieger. And Skinny was, I think, the drummer. I can't remember, but I do remember Mike Finnegan.
Steve Winwood one of his
bands? Oh, no. That's way after. That's when he was in Traffic. I was on the road with him when he was doing his own thing, Dave Mason Certified Live, and he had that song, It's Only You and Me, and We Just Disagree, But, Dave Mason, and it's an interesting thing where there it is. Let me pin Greg here. Let me spotlight you for everybody. And there you go. Dave Mason Certified Live. And if you turn the jacket around, you'll see my name on the front. Proof that I was.
It says Greg. What?
Well, he's going to have it changed. He's going to have it changed.
Cash. Yeah, Cash Landy.
So, yeah, there it is.
Very famous name.
Yeah,
the interesting thing about this, too, I have two interesting stories to share. At least I think they're interesting. So, number one was when I was going to school in California, in University of Santa Barbara, I was sharing an apartment with this guy named Mike Wilson. And Mike Wilson was the singer in a band called Noah's Natural Rhythm, which I was their road manager, tour manager, roadie, everything, And that was when I was going to school. And so we had this tapestry because we couldn't afford, 2 rooms. So we had a tapestry. And he used to play that Dave Mason Alone Together album while he was banging chicks. And I was on the other side. And he played that record a million times, And then, so later on in my life, I end up going on the road as an assistant tour manager on the Certified Live. And at the end of the last tour, the last show of the tour, ended up at the Greek Theater. And then he had a party at his house in Malibu, where he lived in the Sierra Retreat. And I was invited to go to the party. And I'd never seen a house like this. It was just one huge, and I mean huge, the size of like a warehouse, with the kitchen was on one side, but there was no separation. There were no walls. And his bedroom, you had to walk up a flight of stairs to get to. And he had a window, you'd overlook but because his room was so big, the furniture was over large. It was like large furniture. So when you were sitting on the couch, it was like you were like a little kid because your feet wouldn't go make the bed because the couch was it wouldn't even dangle. It was like you're a puppet, you're sitting down there like that. But the couch was so big, so you had your back to the back of the couch. It was beyond your knees, so my knees couldn't bend. So my feet are sticking out straight.
Everybody
like
was
being in Michael Jordan's house.
and I'm watching, I'm saying, wow, this is a Hollywood party. There was this older guy dancing with this young teenage girl, and I'm saying, oh my God, this is perverted, this is weird, and they finished dancing, and the guy comes over and he sits next to me on the couch, and he's sitting on the armrest, so he's like, I'm looking up at him like this, and he looks at me and he says, you work for Dave? And I said, yeah. And he sticks out his hand, and and he shakes my hand. And while he's grabbing my hand, I'm looking at him at his eyes, and I realize it's Ryan O'Neal. And at this point in time, I'd never seen a celebrity before. And this guy was like, love story, super famous, and I'm sure when I looked at him in my eyes, I think my eyes started spinning around in my head, and he looked at me and pulled his hand away. And of course, the girl he was dancing was with Tatum O'Neal. That's my story with Dave Mason.
Wow.
Very talented guy.
Well,
Cool.
My only Dave Mason story was his Traffic played at the Columbus Agora, and they still had the original lineup. It was just before they broke up. It was their last U.S. tour, and boy, was that such a good band. Traffic was. Wow.
Absolutely.
They were so tight together, those musicians, and it was just a joy. And
Jim Capaldi, let's see, what was the other guy?
I can't
I got
remember
mental
their
block
names.
now. Yeah, I can. Stevie Winwood.
Yep.
And
that's
I
right.
got Stevie Winwood came into the House of Blues when I was the production manager. Very talented guy, super talented.
Winwood was
I've seen
in
him a few
Traffic
times.
also?
Yeah, Stevie Winwood. Yeah,
Oh,
Jim
wow.
Capaldi,
Yeah.
Stevie Winwood, Dave Mason, a few other.
Will Spark of High
great
Heeled
band.
Boys.
Yeah, Traffic.
Yep.
Traffic.
I'll tell you, one of the best concerts I ever went to in 2009. I can't remember. Bruce, who was the guy that ended up being the head of engineering at the Renaissance at Hollywood and Highland?
Oh, Jesus.
You know what I'm talking about? Anyways, he hooked my wife and I with a room at the Hollywood Renaissance, which is a quarter mile from the Hollywood Bowl. So he went down there and he got us a great rate on this beautiful room. And it was in May of 2009, and we walked up to the Hollywood Bowl, and it was the Eric Clapton, Steve Winwood. If you've ever heard their album live at Madison Square Garden, where they were covering Little Wing, and all that stuff, right? And so we went up, and it was a beautiful night. And I'll tell you what, they're doing Voodoo Child, and man, the hair on my arms was standing up. It was just incredible. It was so good.
Oh God, there's some great music out there. I mean, Dave Mason, of course, wrote "Feeling All Right." I'm feeling all right, not feeling too
and
good
that
myself.
song has been covered so many times, probably more times than all the Sam and Dave songs got covered, so
yeah, really, really talented musician, great songwriter, good singer, and a lot of fun to be around. So may he rest in peace. 79.
Yeah, I have a note to go in and go back and see what I have in his catalog and go through and listen to some of that stuff coming up.
Yeah.
He was one of the first guys that ever came out with a colored vinyl record. His record was colored vinyl. And when you open the album cover, it was him in a top hat on the rocks.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool. So anyway, that's the story. I'm sticking to it. So anyway, do your own research.
See you, Fred.
And bye, Fred. Thanks for coming. And so,
hey, Fred.
I'm sorry he left, because basically I have 2 tips for you guys this week. I heard about an app that is really amazing. If you have to share files with someone, it's called Blip, B-L-I-P, Blip.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a very cool app. It's instantaneous share. You could share any file with anyone, no matter what system they're using, whether they're on Android, Mac, whatever, Linux, whatever it is. So if you have a big file that you need to share or anything and you want to share it instantly, if you both have the Blip app, it's phenomenal. And then for you guys on the road, I heard of another app. It's called Weather on the Way, which is kind of cool because what it does, if you're going on a long trip, it tells you you put in the address where you're going, and it shows you the weather on the whole entire route as you get there, which is very cool. So I thought I'd share that.
There you go. Yeah.
So my favorite weather app is What the Forecast, because when you open it up, it screams of, well, it doesn't. You just read the obscenities, but
yeah,
it's very funny.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about buying the Carrot app. Have you guys heard of Carrot? Because it's like the same thing. It's very snarky. It's got maps. It's got radar charts. It gives you projections. You know, it used to be Dark Sky was the ultimate weather app, but now, you know, I'm using Apple Maps and Apple Weather, but I don't know why I want to spend $20 a year on a weather app.
You don't need to, Jan. Nowadays, if you need an app, you just go to Claude and you write the app. It takes 10 minutes. So like if I needed a weather app along the route, I would go to Claude and say, make me an app that shows the weather from Dallas to Austin, and it would create it in 5 minutes. You wouldn't have to.
Yeah. By the way, Paul, did you hear that now the new Claude 2 is out, and they're saying that it's in some instances it's better than Nana Banana.
Yeah, and then they've got something called the Mythos that they're afraid to release.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I want the app. I want the Claude Akins app.
Yeah,
but who is Claude Akins anyway? That name sounds familiar.
He's a famous country singer.
No, he was an actor.
Oh, actor. Okay.
Oh, I thought he was a country singer.
No, that would be Chet Atkins.
Yes.
Oh, Chet Atkins. That's it. Yes.
So this guy comes out here to my land last week. He used to work at the guitar store in Austin, and he tells me he's dating a girl that I rent a trailer to. So he comes to me, he says, Paul, I got 20 guitars. I've got 10 of these boxes, the mixers. I've got this and this. He's got like a couple hundred things of audio gear. Do I need to get in the SoundBroker, audio broker business and just sell this guy's stuff? Have Claude build a website, start selling gears like you guys do?
Yeah, I mean, well, hey, look, the things are changing right now, but just because you have a website doesn't mean anybody's going to find you.
If you build it, they won't come.
They won't come. Yeah, I know, because everybody.
There's so much chaff out there. There's just so much chaff. And one of the things about my website right now, which it's a legacy site. It's what AI calls a legacy site. And there are so many links from so many different areas of the world that are linked back to SoundBroker that you can't buy that today. You cannot buy, even if you advertise, you can't get the traffic that we're getting. And we're getting, 40,000 visitors a day to SoundBroker. What they're doing, I have no idea, because they're not buying, but they are going there. Oh,
maybe they're bots. Maybe they're bots. You think they're bots?
Well, some of them must be. I mean, but there are bots searching the internet, but they're searching for information.
So
it's still information.
If I go to Google right now and say Gambo EX56 for sale, I put that in Google, SoundBroker comes up.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, and you actually have an ad, and then of course it says sold.
Well, yeah. Well, because one of the things that I felt was a valuable tool was that if you have, for historical purposes, if you're looking for something that no longer is manufactured and there's no information, you'll be able to find it on SoundBroker. So that's some sort of value.
But, one evening I was sitting there like going, okay, I know Kurt has a market cornered on the remaining gambles, but let me see if I can find one. So I went, wow, here's one. And Jan has it. I bet you forgot about it. And I clicked on it. There's the picture, everything there. And then down at the bottom, it goes, sold.
Yep, sold. Yeah, and then of course, and then you have to be a member to be able to get the historical data of what it sold for, or
who bought
where it is, or all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Well, I don't ever tell who bought it. That's something I don't share, because I don't even know some of the things. I mean, what's the craziest thing is, I get a call from somebody and they know me and they start talking to me, and they're like they're like my best friend, and I have no idea who they are, So I go to my database and I look, but before I usually get to the database, they'll say, I bought that huge PA from you when I first started, or whatever. And I look at it, so the guy spent, $100,000 with me, and I can't even remember who he is, which is sad that my mind is like that. Or maybe it's not sad. Maybe it's a good thing.
Well, your mind's on pickleball.
Well, my mind, I don't know. There's certain things that I could remember, and there's certain things I just don't remember. And that's crazy, It's just totally crazy.
Oh, I thought you were talking about your weekly experience with the Zoom meeting.
Yeah.
Like, who are you guys?
Well, you guys I love. You guys I love. And you want to know something? All right. I got to look away for a second. But in March, our videos were watched 40,796 times. Is that not insane?
Yep. Well, I tell you what, long format, I'm finding that long format videos on YouTube they're trending. Everybody used to say, okay, just keep your videos are like under 10 minutes or under 7 minutes or under 15 minutes, to make, because people don't have time to watch them. When I'm seeing, just looking on, there's sites that actually say what are the top sites and everything like that, and how long are their broadcasts. Well, right now, out of the top 50, half of them are long format, over an hour or more, which is really cool. I think that's now coming back. So we're in the running, Jan.
Yeah. And YouTube, by the way, YouTube is now showing movies. So I've watched a movie, and the interesting thing about YouTube is that you can watch it in any language, And if they don't have the audio, you can actually download the subtitles in any language.
Yeah, and they also had Coachella live, all the stages, which is kind of interesting this year.
Well, Coachella, that's pretty amazing. Who is the headliner this year? Sabrina Carpenter and Madonna, I think.
Well, Justin Madonna Bieber came in as a guest for one song, but she wasn't. It was a walk-on surprise.
I wonder if her and Olivia Rodrigo are friends, because it almost seems like they're almost hard to distinguish between the two when listening to them.
Yeah, who knows?
Wasn't Shakira the second night?
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right. Also too, they had that really bad accident in on the DJ stage, where the wind was blowing, and they had lights out on like the cover over the stage. They had moving lights in there, and a whole fixture came down and split somebody's head open.
No way, really?
Yeah. Yeah, it was on
that's
stage
sad.
3. Yeah. And
that's sad.
And it was during, I don't keep up with DJs. DJs to me are like,
waste of time.
Yes.
Yeah, they're
thieves.
A way to exercise your limiter.
They play records.
Yeah. I just think that it just doesn't seem fair to me that these guys are making as much money as they're making off of other people's backs. Some of them are creating their own music. I know that, but they're using a lot of STEM.
Well, Daft Punk, I like Daft Punk. No.
Yeah, they do interesting stuff.
Yeah, Daft Punk was really good, but some of these other people,
well, Daft Punk's not DJs, are they?
No, they're really not. But a lot of They do a lot of samples in their music, put it that way.
Yeah, I remember
what
reading
you
an
hear
article
today
that,
is an
that
opinion. Do your own research.
yeah, that huge record that they had several years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I read an article where that whole thing was recorded analog, and that they
Right.
spent a fortune recording that album, and it sounded good.
Yeah, sounded good. They also in what was that? The second, the remake of Tron. They did the soundtrack for that whole.
I like the first one better.
The very, very first one?
The first Tron with Jeff Bridges, playing the.
Oh yeah.
He was in the last one too, but only for a couple minutes.
He was in the second and the third one.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
So, the thing that
original.
really bothers me and scares me the most is what's happening with AI music, because I just read an article that so many of these AI songs are now getting such popular response from people. It's insane.
So, it's funny. My wife we have 2 Yorkies, and she goes outside every night and she sings to them and, walks around with them so they go to the bathroom before we bring them in for the night and close the dog door, right? So she calls it the potty song, right?
Should you be sharing this?
Yes, this is actually very funny. I mean, I suppose it is, but it's just kind of scares me. So she listens to a Korean radio station here most of the time, and she talks to them a lot on the phone, and they do a lot of stuff together. And they had this AI guy on, and she sent in, she sat down and wrote the words to her song down and sent it to this guy. And he, the next day or a couple days later, sent her like an MP3 that one of the AIs did. And it was a production video with the dogs running in the grass, and it was in Korean, of course. And they changed the poopy word out to something else. But it was this whole video about, it was a cartoon of my wife and a cartoon of the 2 dogs, and she's singing the damn song, and it just blew me away. I was so shocked. And then I was holding up one of our puppies, and she took a picture of me holding the dog, and then she sent it to GPT, whatever the hell it is, and said, make a cartoon out of this. And they sent back this really funny cartoon. I posted it on Facebook, the pre-picture and the cartoon, so you might have seen it. So, but this stuff scares me because bad guys are going to start doing shit with AI, and it's going to be, if they haven't already, and it's just not going to be.
Well, that's what Paul was saying earlier with this. What is it called? Mythos.
Yeah.
Mythos. Yeah. They don't want to release it except to selected private individuals.
Yeah. Listen, Paul. If you tell me where I go astray here, they're giving it to 20 or 40 major companies to use. I'd say that it's out in the field now.
They already know that China and Iran are doing, fake political shit and posting it on Facebook and YouTube and everywhere else. I mean, you don't know what the hell you're looking at anymore. It's absolutely
It's not
ridiculous.
just China and North Korea and
it's the US
Iran.
Too.
I'm sure it is.
Everywhere.
In Russia, and this is just nothing good about this. It's just not, I can't believe
every
the
country
good is going to outweigh the bad.
Every country is doing it.
Right, but whatever. But it's not good. It's just not good.
Look, you don't think every country has some sort of CIA agency?
Oh, I'm sure they do. And you know what? We're the
spies,
biggest offenders of that shit.
Hey, I would just like to take this opportunity to you, my close friends in the Zoom meeting, to say that you too can earn a few extra bucks at home with your computer.
Making videos about going in the backyard and going potty in the backyard.
Hey, as soon as I get my money from that Nigerian prince, I'll be able to buy more computer equipment.
Yeah.
Now the scams are getting more and more intense, and the emails that I'm getting now, they're so hard to distinguish between what's real and what's somebody trying to steal from you. Like I use DocuSign for, and I'm getting now legitimate looking documents that say DocuSign, but they're sending it me to an email address that I don't know how they got it.
Right.
I don't really use it on a regular basis, so I know that it's bogus,
Yeah,
of
I've
course
had to put,
I'm not doing any business with Pakistan, so I don't need it.
It's funny.
I've had to put it an external, I signed up for an external service called Spam Drain just to filter out all the crap. So to get my inboxes, I got like 9 inboxes that I use for various things. And so it's just handling all that spam for me now. And I love it. I get, I have a portal I can go into and either whitelist people or say, I want to see this newsletter, but keep it on low priority. And
how come you're not using Cloak for that? Because Cloak is pretty good for that.
Cloak doesn't do email though. This is an external.
No,
spam.
you could create an email in Cloak.
Yeah, but I don't want a 10th email account. I have, I have my traveling Greg Baker at Yahoo account since Yahoo opened. Okay.
Damn, now you're going to get a lot of me. Now you're going to get a ton of emails, especially from these young girls that are attracted to you.
Just kill you. Go for it.
So I was in New York 2 years ago working for about 11 days, and I had just put my house up for sale. And I got this email from what I thought was the DWP here in LA, and it said that my house was up for sale and that they had they if I didn't pay up my electric bill, which I should have thought for 10 minutes, and for $500, that they were going to put a lien on my property and not let me sell my house. So luckily my wife had gone to New York with me because she wanted to run around Manhattan while I was working, which is cool. And she started looking into all this. And so what's happening is, so that anybody online who's listening to this, is the scammers are starting to, if you put your property up for sale, they're finding out whose property is up for sale, and they're faking liens on properties so that you pay them, so that you can sell your house or whatever. So
they're doing electric bills, water bills, telephone bills, credit card bills. They're doing everything they could think of to try to rip people off. It looked so
legitimate. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing here that's big in Florida is there's people that actually go to the county office and they have a fake notarized signature and say, I bought this house. I need to do a deed transfer.
Yes, they steal your house right out from under you.
Yep.
Well, that's why it's so important to homestead. If you own a home, you homestead it, and that protects you.
And what does that actually do? How does that protect you?
It actually locks up your deed because you're entitled to own one home, so it basically locks up your deed. That's basically what it does. And it prevents anybody from stealing from you. So in other words, if you homestead, other than owing a vendor money, you are protected. So somebody can't take your house.
That's very from state to state though, Jan. Every state's definition of homesteading is different.
But you have to register with the county.
State, absolutely. Whatever. Or the county.
I think it's the county
here in Florida. Because
I believe all real estate is controlled by the county.
Right. But it's an extra level. However, people here, scammers in Florida at least, I can't speak for the rest of the nation. So but people, it is an issue here in Florida where people are actually doing that. And people find out, all of a sudden they're getting foreclosure notices because these guys, they did the deed transfer and then they take out like three loans. They take
the home equity loan, yeah.
Jesus. Well, I think everybody has to be super careful right now because as things are getting more expensive, and I am really feeling it here in Thailand, our electric bill went up 2,000 baht. Now,
why?
2,000 baht is only $60 for me. However, if you're making baht, that is a fortune for you. That is a fortune.
You guys make your own electricity, don't you? I mean, it's not like you're buying it from Iran or something, are you?
No, well, Bo has a machine. She just stands out there and goes like that. You know, it's like,
when she stops,
getting
the lights
tired,
go
you know?
off.
No, of course we don't make our own electricity.
You could buy some hamsters from Dave.
No, I mean, you as a country, Thailand as a country makes.
Oh yeah, of course. Every country has their own infrastructure.
Well, why would your electricity take such a big jump? What?
Well, figure this out, okay? Where does most of the oil that leaves the Middle East go?
Okay, but
Asia.
Right, it does. Yes.
And Europe.
But I didn't know, if you had a lot of, waterfalls and all that kind of shit. I don't know.
I don't. Well, they have.
I don't know. I have no idea.
They have alternative methods of making energy. Which is they could change they can go back to wood burning, they could go back to coal, they could go back to, but we get our energy, our resources from Malaysia, Cambodia, Russia,
even your natural gas too, right?
Yeah. But we get a lot of energy from most of it came from the Middle East. Now, as if you've been following this thing, all the boats that were out there, I saw this analogy that an oil tanker goes at the speed of a bicyclist, so it takes months or a month to get from Asia to the Middle East or back and forth. So now all the boats that had left are starting to finish up their arrival. So it's going to get very scary. I just read an article that in Europe, they've only got 5 weeks left of jet fuel.
Yeah, Lufthansa shut down all their intercity jet flights.
And what that means is basically if you're flying from America to Europe, well, that's fine. Because America is oil independent right now. We've got a lot of oil. We got the fracking.
California's not, but the rest of the country is.
Well, California gets
we fucked ourselves
over.
So bad.
Yeah, I mean the taxes. Look what you're paying in taxes on gasoline there. It's like when I drove from Las Vegas to California, I forgot to stop at State Line to get gas, so I had to stop to get gas, and the price went from $3.80 to $5.50.
Yep,
just like that, across the state line. It was insane. It's all taxes, or mostly taxes.
Are you trying to say that I should move out of here?
Get the fuck out!
You know what?
Yes,
if you don't have any reason to live in California, don't.
The weather, the ocean.
There's lots of reasons to live here.
Not enough.
Other than the weather, I can't think of any.
Hey, to live in Los Angeles, you're paying to be in traffic. I mean, that is something I look forward to when I'm there, to be stuck in bumper
I'm
to bumper
surrounded by
traffic.
creative minds. I love California. It costs more to live here, but it's so worth it. And I'm not going anywhere. And by the way,
well, you are in a different situation than most people. But if you were just starting out to go to California,
that's different.
It's very expensive.
Yeah. By the way, homesteading in California, if you live in your house, is automatic. You don't have to do a thing.
What part of Cal are you in, David?
I'm in LA. I'm in
Hollywood.
He's in Hollywood.
He's in Hollywood.
When you look at the Hollywood sign, David could see that out of his window.
Yeah, right under the Hollywood sign's right over his head, pretty much.
Yeah, it's right there. But
David has a beautiful house built in the 1920s. Just gorgeous. David and I have lived in some nice places together. We had this house that overlooked the Hollywood Bowl called Whitley
Heights.
What do we call it?
Whitley Terrace.
The Chateau de Whitley.
Did you sit on your deck and watch the concerts every night for free?
No, we couldn't do that.
No, but we could hear them.
Oh, really?
Couldn't see them, but you could hear them.
Oh, wow.
Whitley Heights is one of the oldest neighborhoods for the film industry in LA. The Whitley Heights Homeowners Association is the oldest in LA, I think. And we lived in a house that was part of the film industry. The guy who built it was the director for Marion Davies, who was William Randolph Hearst's girlfriend. So we had a house with 4 fireplaces, just to kind of give you an idea.
And it had an outdoor. It was a round house, and in the middle there was a patio that every room could go into the outdoor patio where they had a fire pit. I guess I remember, but I remember one year there was a block party. It was a block party, all the residents, and it's at the very top of the hill, the Whitley Terrace. And it was the block party for the Whitley Terrace. And I was out there at the party, and my friend turns to me and he says, Fellini, he's got nothing on this crowd. So it was wild. It was wild. Good times. Good time had by all.
Cool.
It had a ballroom with a fireplace. It had an office off the master bedroom with a fireplace. I mean, we had great parties in that house.
What street was it on?
Well, Woodley Heights is Franklin and Highland. When you're heading north on Highland to get to the Hollywood Bowl, it's on the far right, that hill. So it was where the very first film studio was very close to that hill. And so it was the first place where the film industry had famous people.
There's one bit of history that we have when we lived in the house. The song "Physical" that Olivia Newton-John did was written in that ballroom by Terry Shattuck,
who lived in the ballroom. The ballroom had its own kitchen and bathroom and separate entrance, so it was like an apartment. You gotta have a kitchen
really
in a
nice
ballroom. It had a stage.
Wow.
It was a great house.
Well, little stage.
I'm having some house envy right now. Apparently I live in a inadequate facility.
Well, the thing about the house that was so unique
It's
was
a home to you.
the guy who lived in the house drank himself out of the house. And so he was living with a friend because he had to rent out the house to pay for it. And it came with all the furnishings from the 20s. It was just amazing. And there were 4 of us who lived there. Someone lived in the ballroom, someone lived in the regular bedroom, someone lived in the master bedroom, and someone lived in the maid's quarters off the kitchen. Everybody had their own bathroom. It was a great house.
And I got kicked out.
This house I live in, I built myself. It's got it's 5,000 square feet. It's got 5 kitchens. It's got lots and lots of bedrooms, lots of closets, 8 bathrooms. It's just a huge house.
Are you looking for some roommates, Paul? Are you advertising right now?
I have roommates. Yeah, I have a few roommates because we got so many kitchens and bathrooms and such here, and I have to have a full-time maintenance man just to keep it running.
What was your inspiration to build a house that large?
I just got carried away. I
and this is in Austin,
small.
Right?
Well, why don't we add a room here? Why don't we put some decks here? And it just kept going and going. Now it's kind of comes in handy because I can rent out rooms and I've turned some of it into efficiencies so they have their own little thing,
Kitchenettes.
Yeah, and everybody likes living here.
Is this your house in Austin or Arkansas?
This is Austin house, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the house in Arkansas, we don't rent it or anything. We don't Airbnb it. We just go there and relax and hang out, get away from Austin,
When you want to get away from it all, yes.
Yeah.
Who's talking about Austin here? What is there? I didn't catch that. Is that
I
you?
was just talking about I built a big house here outside of Austin.
Paul, this has been suggested to me, and we haven't met before. My name is Gregory. It has been suggested to me as an audio engineer and musician lover in general to move to Austin. What would you say? How would you present the city to someone, let's say, who's never lived there before in 2026? Is it worth it abandoning San Diego for Austin, for example?
Well, if you're an audio engineer, you're in hot demand because they're building a studio just a few miles from me it's on the scale of some of the studios in Hollywood. It's huge. And that's just one of many because McConaughey and Harrelson and Willie Nelson, they all got together. They went to the legislature and they got all this money to build recording studios and support the arts infrastructure. So you wouldn't have a hard time finding work as an audio engineer.
I should
Well,
probably.
you're leaving out one of the most major things that happens in Austin every year, and that's South by Southwest, which is a huge creative
well,
endeavor.
to you guys, the big event would be the ACL Festival, where you have 100,000 people outdoors in concerts. Steve Winwood played there a few years ago. They have like big name bands every. It's like one of the biggest concerts. South by is kind of taken a hit because they tore down the convention center. There's nothing there, and they're rebuilding it. It's going to take 5 years to build a new convention center here. So that kind of has kind of diminished this year.
Yeah, but people still talk about it, and it's still where the movers and shakers go, especially in the really creative areas of avant-garde music, avant-garde film, avant-garde computer science. I mean, it's really still the avant-garde place. I think it's the premier of that aspect of our industry.
There's a lot of money in Austin. I know. Yeah, I know some people that moved out of New York. They were brokers. They moved out of New York and they moved to Austin. And cost of living is lower, and they're making just as much money. They're just doing it remotely, and because New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, that area just costs too much now.
Didn't Elon move there?
Elon moved here. Yeah, I just built a website. Called Austin Cribs. We're going to go around to the summit like McConaughey and people like that, and we're going to they're going to do tours of their house. We don't have a Hollywood sign. We have a guy who built a castle in this neighborhood because he felt like it. And then there's average celebrity home, 3.2 million, 50 million for the most expensive home. And then you got the Musk tiny house. You've got the Rogan compound, 14 million for the Rogan compound. You got the
Rogan, is that for the hair loss treatment?
No, Joe Rogan, the long form podcaster. Y'all were talking about long form podcasts. The Bullock portfolio, Sandra Bullock. We got the Dell estate, Michael and Susan Dell. We got the Larry Ellison, head of Oracle.
Yeah, I did a show in Oracle's in their
when you're worth 145 billion, you don't house hunt. You just point at the lake. And then the Luck Ranch, Willie Nelson, and the Wang.
Wait a second, Willie Nelson lives there. I thought Willie Nelson lives. I thought he lived. Where did I think he lived? I didn't think
he lives in Luck, Texas. He has an entire town in Luck. In Luck, it's kind of a fake town, but it's nonetheless, it's got everything.
And it's real to him, I'm sure.
Yeah, and all these places. It's called the Billionaire Row. Anyway, that was one of 120 websites I've built since April 1st using Claude.
Well, that's pretty impressive. And pretty impressive.
Your hosting bill must be huge.
No, it's $6 a month. $6 a month.
Well, it really all depends on how much traffic goes to your website. Is that what you need for the pipe? If he's just got it, if he's hosting it on his own machine and more than 2 or 3 people come at a time, then it's super slow. Whereas where SoundBroker, it's costing me $900 a month, so that when you go to SoundBroker, the pages load.
Dan, you can run SoundBroker. You can run SoundBroker on $6 a month.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. We're having an advertisement right here. Have your own website. Run it for $6 a month now.
So who's your provider then, or is that you?
The trick is you sign up with some.
Hey, Paul. With all due respect, only half of your face is showing up.
There
you go. Now more than
digital Ocean, $6 a month.
And they do the hosting for you.
They host it. Yeah, it's incredible.
So I've been with Blue Ocean,
and you're saying
emails,
unlimited domains.
Yeah, unlimited domains. Yeah,
and it's just a matter of how many gigs or terabytes of storage you need, right?
No, they're pretty much you can get by on $6 a month.
All right, Paul. So let me ask you something. What are you paying for your domains?
$12 a year through GoDaddy.
Okay,
$12
you might want to
each
look
year.
into Pork Bun. I've been using Pork Bun lately. I switched from Hover to Pork Bun, and it's very inexpensive.
How
How
much
do you
per
spell that,
domain?
Jan? Can you spell that?
Pork Bun, PORKBUN.com.
How much per domain?
They're really good.
Per year?
It depends on whether it's a com, nut, or whatever. It varies. You could get it for as low as $5. I'm paying $11.84 a year.
That's
Per
what I
domain.
pay.
For my comms and less for my nets.
Okay.
Namecheap.com is where I register my names, and that sounds about the right price that I've been paying there, 11 something.
But Hover wanted 18 change per domain.
For the longest time, though, where your price goes up, if you get a lot of traffic, you'll get an email saying, "Hey, you're doing so many gigs a month, or so many unique visitors a month."
Yeah, guaranteed, Paul. If you started getting the kind of traffic that we're getting, 45,000 visitors a day, I guarantee you they'd be calling you up and say, "Hey, buddy, you got to move your site." Or
no, I've got a lot.
Dan,
I've got a lot more visitors than that per day. A whole lot more.
Okay, well,
Jan's
going to look into it. And do you know what they say? Do your own research.
Do your own research, because everything's an opinion.
But Paul, have you ever heard of a hosting company called Hostinger?
HostGator, you mean?
No, Hostinger, like
No,
Hostinger.
I never heard of them.
I think it's based in Russia. The company's based in Russia, but that's who I've got my stuff posted with. Very reasonable, like $30 a year.
Yeah, because it's in Russia.
Yeah,
50,000 rubles a month,
Yeah, but it works fine.
Yeah, it works fine until you fall out a window or down some stairs.
Yeah.
Here are my
or they
stats.
shut you down. They shut you down. Hey, I'm shutting you down now.
Here's my stats: 122 websites since April 1st. I've built them since April 1st. I've got 67,000 visitors, 306,000 hits, 2 gigs of bandwidth. Then I've got each site here listed, and I can sort it by visitors, by pages, by hits.
The hits are nothing.
Where those
hits are
visitors
meaningless.
came from,
bandwidth.
Right?
There's bandwidth and volume.
And who's the name of your hosting company again?
DigitalOcean.
And you're paying $6 a month for all of those websites.
$6 a month, and that's the kind of traffic I'm getting. I have had 67,000 visitors in the last 3 weeks on these websites.
Oh, Jan was saying he has like tens of thousands per day.
45,000 a day, Paul.
It's a big
still wouldn't be that much.
But still,
it still wouldn't cost you that much.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Unfortunately,
might be worth checking into.
I cannot.
Might be worth checking into, huh? Why can't you?
You could move it.
The reason I can't do it because my service also includes the web designer and the PsyOps. So they monitor my website. They take care of everything.
Database. You have a huge.
And I have a huge. I've got 30 years of information in that database.
Yep.
Plus,
so what's
the
I don't know if.
Kurt?
Plus, I have a shopping cart. I have all of that. We have all of that. I mean, there's so much on my back end that I don't even remember all the shit that I got on my back end.
Hey, Albertsons wants their shopping cart back, Jan. Come on.
Yeah. Not only that, Paul, I also do my mailing. I have a newsletter that goes out every day on the wanted listing, and I also have a weekly newsletter. Plus, I have the ability to do mass mailing at any time to any way I want to do it with my website. It's pretty intense. I'm not going to change, but my backup site, I use Blue Origin. I believe it's called Blue something.
Blue Origin.
Digital, Blue something.
That's a rocket
Blue
company.
something.
Yeah,
I think it's called Blue something or other.
That's Jeff Bezos' rocket company.
Yeah, Blue Moon.
Yeah,
I think you're talking about Blue Moon.
It's super blue. I don't know what it is. Blue something. But anyway, that's $39 a month. But I'm going to look into DigitalOcean.
So to change the subject, can I change this? Kurt, how's your gamble rebuild going? Still going. Yay.
Putting them back together.
Isn't that what you were doing last week? Same thing.
Been doing it for 3 weeks.
Oh man.
You gonna beat the deadline?
He was taking it apart last week. He's putting it back together now.
Go back out on tour. They're supposed to pick it up on the 1st, and I'm gonna have to work a lot of days to make that happen. First show is San Antonio on the 7th, so it's got to be in San Antonio on the 7th no matter what. So I might have to send a guy with a truck and take it there if I needed a few more days. But I'm going to bring a bunch of the lowers with me to my gig this weekend, and I'll be rebuilding faders in the hotel room.
What's the San Antonio gig?
Don't you think that you have too much on your plate right now with running a sound company and doing technical work, building road cases, fixing gamble
consoles?
Yeah, I mean, isn't that like what
am I supposed to do?
When do you sleep? Well, when do you sleep?
I don't like to sit around. I don't like downtime, and I'm terrible at vacationing.
Yeah.
Well, you've done it though.
I've done what? Vacationing?
On vacation. I seem to remember.
Yeah, Bali.
You were going
You've gone
somewhere.
to Bali a couple times.
No, I've gone a lot of places, but I have to like work. I tell people just make sure to call me because I need something to do.
All right.
Oh my God. Hey, what happened to the balloon?
Have you considered hiring somebody to cover some of that stuff?
Well, I have people.
Yeah. So
He's been trying to
you
get
don't
me
have
to
to
go there
take
for
the
2 years.
faders to the hotel room with you?
Well, that guy's going to be working in the hotel room when faders with me.
Okay.
I'm training.
So, Kurt, I got a very important question. What happened to the balloon? It's missing.
We finally got rid of it because it was just ridiculous to still have a Happy Valentine's balloon up like a month and a half later. We had to pop it. It never deflated. It was the weirdest thing. I mean,
you had helium in there. You could have sold it on the open market. I'm sure you could have got a pretty penny for it.
Should have brought it to the straight and sold it to the highest bidder.
Anyone go to NAB or watch any of the videos out of NAB? In Vegas over the last 3 or 4 days.
I've been watching.
Ken Porter was there. That's why he's not here right now. He went to NAB. Stage Tech, the console, they're coming on the show. I don't know when, but they're going to come on and show their new console here as well. I haven't heard much about NAB. I've been looking at some of the news articles, but there really doesn't seem to be anything earth-shattering that's coming out of it.
Well, didn't I see something earth-shattering coming from Shure and maybe Sennheiser?
Well, Sennheiser's got
somebody else.
Spectera.
Oh, and how about Fairchild? Doesn't Fairchild have something really interesting?
Had that. Fairchild had that. They have, some inexpensive consoles, and they're giving away the software engine, the software, and you just you can run it on a Mac Mini, and it's all Dante. It's an interesting thing. I saw a further video just the other day. There's a couple videos on that when they were showing the scene changes on that console, and man, those faders, you could hear those motors. From it's like the old. Remember when the first automated
Innovason.
Yeah.
Looks like the Innovason.
Yeah, I mean, you could, you hear, and so
that's bad, right, Greg?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Innovason was not one of the better consoles that were ever made, too. They had a big problem with their frames. Their frames were bending.
But these things, it's 8. They're selling these base control surfaces, a 40 channel. I forget. I think it's 40 by 32 control surface for $8,000. Then
that's really inexpensive.
You give away the software, and then you got to do your own Dante network, and you throw it on a Mac Mini, which until recently were cheap. but now they're going through the roof because people are starting to. There's a new piece of software out there that you can take inexpensive, even M1 Mac or M2 Mac Minis, and group them all together and make them into an AI training, training cluster. And so
I was trying to buy a Mac Mini, and I couldn't believe how expensive they've become. They used to be like $500-600. I mean, you can get one on eBay, but it's the older ones, and you want the Mac
Even
Silicon.
People are snapping them up right now. Everybody thought that Apple was going to announce it like a new M5 Mac Mini, but they're sold out in a lot of countries right now.
I can't get one here in Thailand. I went to the store; they don't have them here.
They're not available in Singapore either.
I'll tell you another thing that, if you're buying Macintosh stuff, it's really good to go to. Apple has a refurbished center where for whatever reason they hit this center, and what I've been told is that these computers are better than buying a brand new one, because these go through such a workbench technological aspect of it, because they don't want it ever to come back to them. So more people put their hands on these particular computers that they have on the Apple refurbished center than it would be for a normal computer. So if there's a flaw, whatever, they go through it because they never want to see it back again. But they don't have Mac Minis in this store. They're out of Mac Minis. You can get Air, MacBook Pro, whatever.
I heard this rumor, Jan, that people aren't buying Mac Minis because D-Feedback is still in beta for Macintosh.
Are we still streaming?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, but we're going to stop in a second. So, and I'm glad you brought that up, because I'm about to say goodbye to everybody on social media. I just want you to remember that, hey, you make it happen out there. But before I do that, anybody have anything that they want to say on social media?
I built a website.
I'm going to have to send you an invoice. I'm going to have to send you an invoice for self-grandizing.
This is my NAB website. It's got everything at NAB.
Okay.
It's got what's on the floor, everything. It's convcast.com if you want to get all the news from NAB.
I'll send you a digital invoice so you pay me immediately.
Yeah.
All right. Very good.
Okay.
Thanks.
Shameless promotion here.
Shamelesspromotion.com.
Right.
That's it. There you go. That's his next website, shamelesspromotion.com. So anyway, anybody else have anything they want to say? Kurt, Riley, Fred, Wayne, anybody?
I did a show.
I'm happy
years
that
ago.
Digico finally came out with a 2-screen 225 instead of that single screen 225 that I didn't care for.
Yeah.
Two-screen 225, way better. Thanks, Digico.
Yeah.
All right, let's say goodbye. All right, everybody, thanks for watching. Remember, you make it happen. Give us a thumbs up, share the show, tell friends, especially the ones you don't like, the people you really hate, make them watch this again.
I turned 72 tomorrow, by the way. So
really, happy birthday!
So can we sing him out? Come on, let's sing him out.
Happy birthday.
Everybody, open up your mic.
Let me just say one thing before we start singing.
No.
The most embarrassing thing in the world. I hate it. I hate when people do that, especially at restaurants. They shut the lights off. Everybody in them.
Oh, it's the best. Come on, Jan.
No, I'm going to celebrate at Denny's tomorrow. So
Denny's.
Denny's first thing.
Denny's is special for those at 72.
They still have Denny's in Florida?
Yeah. Right next to the Waffle House.
Happy
anyway,
birthday.
Guys.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. See you all next week for the 309th episode. Until then, make it happen. You make it